Hi there, this is Jeff Hansen in San Jose, California.
And this is Arvin Paredes in Los Angeles, California.
We are here today with a combined 40 years of full time real estate experience to share some best insights and tips to make you your most powerful and successful.
That's right. We do have an interesting topic today, and it's something that I think a lot of realtors can relate to. I think it's something that we go through on an ongoing basis, and it is this: when you are in conversations with people on social media or through text messages, and you're talking to people about the real estate market, but they're not quite your clients yet. Could be your friends, your coworkers or ex-coworkers, and they're asking you things about the buying process, the selling process. How do you handle those questions so that you're not just giving away free information, but also hopefully locking them down as a client?
Ooh, that's good. That is a good one. Well, kind of related to that is when people just kind of ask, how's business? But when they ask specific things about really, someone is only bringing up those kinds of specific questions when they have some kind of need. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Because most people, if they don't have a need or if they don't have an interest, they're not going to want to get into the weeds on marketing a property or getting pre-approved, right?
Right.
So I'll share. How about if I share my 2 cents, then you can share yours.
Okay.
Um, Knowing that they have some kind of interest or some kind of need that's at least sometime relatively soon, I would certainly engage in the conversation. The question might come up, so what's the process for getting pre-approved? What or what work should I do to my house before I sell? Next question for me would be, oh, is that something you're thinking about doing? And if it is, then have a nice conversation, even if it's online or back and forth, and say, hey, a great next step would be if you invite me to come over and visit you with if they're selling or if it's a buyer. How about if we get together and just visit in person and we can talk about what you might be looking to do? So, in the selling process, it's always good to keep in mind the sales process and where you at. Everybody is a lead until they become, and then the next step is always to get an appointment. So, have as much conversation as you want. But these are questions getting too deep into what your marketing plan is or what all the steps are to buying. Those are things that are best covered in a consultation. That is my first thought.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, I think you have to not only answer their questions, but ask a bunch of questions too. Um, and in doing so, you start to uncover if they're just trying to get information out of you or if they're really motivated to do something in the near future. In any case, they're probably going to do something in the near future or the not so near future, right? And I think in my experience, if you just answer questions without leading them to an appointment, leading them to meeting with you, or leading to a very serious question that will bond you guys as a possible business relationship, then it's gonna it's gonna be hard on you later if you find out that they go with someone else and you didn't make that effort to close them on something.
You let someone else close.
Yeah. Then they just took away a lot of good, nice information from you, and they went with somebody else, their cousin, whoever.
Well, and the worst part is they might get bad advice or a bad service from a different agent, right?
Yeah,
As I heard once, don't settle for a weak agent in a weak moment. And we're here to be professionals and be the best realtors we can. So we really owe it to them to try and give them the best advice. One thing along those lines that can help is saying, you know what, this sounds like there might be a bit of a conversation here. How about if we just had a quick time for a phone call? Like you said, social media or text. So that's kind of your question is you're going back and forth through something where you're not on the phone. I would close at least for a phone call, even if it's not in person. Even though a lot of times initial consultations, to some degree, especially with buyers, can happen over the phone. But another way you said ask them something about that. Just a reminder that when you were asked a question, like if someone asked me, well, to answer the question and then ask them a question. rather than just giving information. So if someone asks me, how's the market? Oh, it's really interesting. Why do you ask? Or they say, how do you get pre-approved? Tell them a couple tips about that and say, yeah, I'm curious. Are you thinking of buying? Ask them a follow-up question that gets them thinking and answering back. You can do that with every single question that someone asks, right? What's your commission rate? Well, it depends on the outcome. Are you thinking about selling?
That's good. Yeah. Yep.
And that's true in almost every situation, but certainly aware to close. You can never close for the end, right? You just close for the next step. It's just logical. The next step would be we get together somehow to talk about what you're doing and then see if it's a fit for us to work together, basically. And then it's a commitment to move forward from there. Then it's a commitment to find the right house, get a buying contract. Those are the steps, on to closing, and then post closing, and then stay in touch forever. What say you?
Yeah, I think it's important to have the guts to ask to meet with them, whether it's at their property or at a coffee shop. And in doing so, you find out really if they are at a point where they're ready to meet with a professional to do what they're trying to do.
Yeah, sometimes people don't think, sometimes people, especially buyers, I found, think they know something that's not true. They might think you need 20% down. I read a book that a friend recommended on the history of kind of racist activities in back from like the 1930s and 40s. And this guy was highlighting how there was redlining, all these horrible things right here in the United States. And at the end, he said how that relates to today. And he said in the book, how difficult it is because you need to have 20% down to buy. The author of this book, an educator, I think he's a professor, thought you need 20% down to buy. So a lot of people think that, and they might have some misconceptions. So sometimes when you're going back and forth, people looking for a reason to exclude either considering doing something or to exclude you. So the more you say, the more chance there is you might get at something that makes them go a different direction. So kind of say the minimum while being helpful, and then close for an appointment. And it's not, it doesn't have to be a big thing, right? I say, hey, why don't we have time when, I'm just heading to an appointment right now. I'm just in the middle of something. Let's make sure I get you all the information that would be helpful. And what's the time to meet at your house, meet at a coffee shop, talk on the phone or Zoom?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of I think I've connected with a lot of agents who just feel like they've been jaded in the past, or they're jaded now because of their experiences with this type of thing in the past of just being so helpful with information. That's what we try to do. We try to come from contribution and try to help with info, and then people just kind of use whoever they're going to use, which, at the end of the day, they're going to do that. But you can help increase your chances to be their agent by, setting a time to meet with them to have a formal conversation about these things.
With the awareness of what the purpose that is. It's a purpose to get clarification for both of you. Do they want to work with you? And do you want to work with them?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's find out if it's even a fit to work together. I mean, I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
Like something like, well, can you do this? Maybe it might depend on the situation.
Yeah. Right.
Let's get together and see what makes sense and just see what you're looking to do. Because sometimes, and this happens, I mean, it's not exactly your question, but I find this in seller inquiries. People will call me from marketing that I do or something and say, I'm thinking about selling, and they might have a raft of questions. So I'll answer a couple and say, hey, a logical next step would be that you invite me over to visit your home and we can talk more. And almost always people will say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. There's only so much you can get to in an initial conversation like that, right? You're not going to get all the issues, and you want to be asking them questions and be a good consultant, which is hard to do when just or texting, super hard. I think. I mean, nothing gets done by text or social media. It's a good entree.
Yeah, and you know what? On their side, they're also probably thinking that there's nothing wrong with what they're doing either, which there isn't. They're just trying to get information. And if I had a friend that was a mechanic, I would just probably shoot him a text. Hey, what do you think is wrong with my car? Because it's making this noise, or this sign, this thing is coming up on the dashboard. And he'd probably say, I don't know. Why don't you bring it in and let's figure it out?
No. I just want to look at it. Well, I mean, I can only help you so much. Hey, I've been married for 20 years. Never done online dating because it didn't exist back then. But if you're online dating, you initially have some questions back and forth, right? But you're not getting into a committed relationship from online dating. The point of the online dating is, okay, well, let's get together in person, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's have a date and get together and see if there's any kind of connection there. It's really the same sort of thing. Let's do that exactly. And I'll pose you a question. Let's say it's a situation where someone says, "Oh, I was just kind of curious." Like someone says, "How much you have to put down? You this, or you think about doing it?" Nah, maybe someday. I don't want to get waste your time with a long conversation. And so what do you do in that situation? Or solid says, "Yeah, I was just kind of curious, but yeah, no, I don't. I don't need to dig in any deeper." What would you do?
I would just keep asking questions. I'd ask that first person, the buyer, I'd probably ask something like, what have you heard is most common for putting something, that percentage down, and kind of
Ooh,
just, and keep it kind of flowing and keep it kind of open ended. Yeah. Instead of just having a hard stop right there.
totally. And if you do have someone where it's clear that they are just kind of kicking the tires and they really don't have interest in anything immediately, they just say, honestly, I appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff, but I'll let you know if we ever decide to do anything. You want to put them on some kind of drip campaign that's appropriate to them, right? And
Gotcha.
stay
Yep.
in touch. Call them whatever time frame is appropriate. Actually, one good thing is when you get off the phone, also say, how about if I reconnect with you in and confirm it right then? How about if I talk to you in a month or 6 months or
Yeah.
something? And whatever you promise to do half. If you say, how about just always do half? How about if I call you in 4 months? Oh, that's great. Call them in 2 months.
2 months. Got it.
Because people make decisions quicker than they think they will. They're not being dishonest. They just don't think, oh, it's someday, I don't know. And then something happens, they're like, oh, maybe we can buy. Maybe
Yeah.
we should do this. So stay in touch and have some kind of passive drip and then actively call, text, and stay in touch.
Right. Got it. Nice.
But it is kind of a freemium model that we have, like freemium on the internet or apps and things that give free information. And then if you want to participate more, you pay money, right? We have free information. We send listing alerts, we send this and that, very low level. But if they really want to get serious advice that's helpful, you got to get together and talk about this.
That's right.
Let's get together, Arvin.
Let's do it.
Okay, great advice. Fabulous question. Have a successful day out there, everybody. Last thought, Arvin?
Just be aware of when something like this is happening and have a purpose for where the conversation's going.
I love it. I love it. Okay, take care.